Ladies and gentlemen, we have a situation on our hands here for Bitcoin because Bitcoin is on the doorstep of breaking 53,000 US dollars. And if it does so, the macro trend that suggests a pre-halving correction will be pretty much broken. We also have a situation where 50% of my audience in a YouTube community poll with 2,000 responses are suggesting that a super cycle is the more likely scenario this time around. So we have a massively bullish market environment going into a macro trend that is on the verge of breaking. And if we break that macro trend, that super cycle could come into reality. But the fact of the matter is we haven't broke the trend yet, and we need to keep looking at it for the time being. Here's what you need to look at right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the content today, if you want to trade altcoins with me on Telegram, you want to make money on altcoins, you can do so utilizing the Wolves of Crypto VIP Telegram group. The description below will show you a link that gives you access to a group that shows you all of the information and results for the group. So from there, you can make an educated decision on whether you want to buy into a membership. Then we have the two exchanges that I advertise on this channel, BingX and BitGet. BingX is global non-KYC. BitGet is global KYC minus the USA and Canada. So take your pick depending on your location. They're both very low in trading fees, both never been hacked before. My links are below for exclusive discounts and rewards for life on these exchanges. So check those out. And then finally, if you want to learn how to trade, you can do so on the Crypto Academy's Become a Trader 10-unit course. All the information's on the website. Guys, without further ado, let's get into it. What am I discussing today? Well, today I'm reiterating a few points I've made before, and I'm also looking into the more pressing short-term price action. Bitcoin is now on the doorstep of 53,000 US dollars, and the importance of that level is unmatched at this point. It's the most important level we face at the moment for Bitcoin. So currently our support level rests at around 48K to 47K, and then our resistance rests at around 52 to 53. We're currently on the doorstep of 52. We're just kind of fighting it right now, unable to break above it, as of yet. So let's go ahead and look into the macro chart to get context of the Bitcoin situation, to get context of why right now is actually so important, okay? So what we can see on this macro chart is a macro trend for Bitcoin. Now, this is not to be mistaken with the 4-year cycle. This macro trend is not the 4-year cycle. However, there are nuances that need to be discussed in that regard that I'll discuss in a second. I'll first want to identify what the trend actually is. What we can see is that Bitcoin is a structural macro trend. What it does is it forms this kind of, well, I've drawn it as a yellow line, but it's not obviously an inherently yellow line. But you can see this horizontal yellow solid line on the screen is formed at the peak of the dead cat bounce of each bear market. Okay, the peak of the dead cat bounce at each bear market forms this yellow horizontal resistance line. We then come up after the bottom. Within 2 months of breaking the dotted yellow line, which is the bull market support line, we reach the yellow horizontal line again for resistance. We then reach at the same time 67 on the RSI, which validates the line from more than just a speculative basis. It validates it on both an RSI level and a price line level. And then from there, we see a pre-halving correction. Okay, so basically what I'm showing you is this. I'm showing you a trend that has played out now 2 separate full times, and it's very much playing out a third time at the moment. It's not invalidated yet. It is threatening to be invalidated, but not yet. But it's played out a few times now, and the trend is basically this. We should be seeing, on a monthly candle basis, a pre-halving correction stemming from this yellow horizontal line at around 49K and stemming from this RSI monthly chart horizontal line at 67 on the RSI, okay? Right now, we have not confirmed a daily candle close above that yellow horizontal line, and we certainly have not broken above the RSI line. And so technically speaking, this macro trend, which predicts a pre-halving correction that lasts a couple of months at a minimum, okay, significant correction, is not invalidated yet, okay? So what we have now is a macro trend on Bitcoin, a macro trend that is literally saying to us, okay, look, we're going to see a pre-halving correction. We are in the process, okay, of potentially invalidating that macro trend. However, it's not invalidated yet. What would invalidate that macro trend? What would confirm that Bitcoin would go higher? What would confirm that Bitcoin would ignore this trend here and go potentially to new all-time highs within a few months? I'll show you right now. The first thing to confirm it would be a monthly candle close above 49,000, because 49,000 is where this yellow horizontal line stems from. Okay, so a monthly candle close above 49,000 US dollars would break that macro trend for the most part. Okay, that would occur in 12 days. Now, 12 days is obviously a very long time away. So in the meantime, what we can look out for is a break above 53,000 US dollars. If we break above 53,000 US dollars on Bitcoin and flip it for support, or see a couple of daily candles, or whatever it may be, a confirmed break above 53,000, which is our next major macro resistance, which stems all the way back from December 2021, from retests in November, from a retest here in September 2021. If we can break that level, we won't need to wait for the 49K monthly candle close. That would be an invalidation of the macro trend within itself. It's very unlikely that Bitcoin will properly break 53K and then come all the way back down and close a monthly candle below 49K. That's extremely unlikely. So what we need to be seeing on Bitcoin is one of two things, okay? We need to be seeing either a break of the monthly candle close, okay? So a monthly candle break of 49K, monthly candle close above 49K, or a confirmed breakout of 53K. Not just like an hourly candle or 15 minutes or a wick. No, we need a confirmed breakout, a strong breakout, resistance support flip, all that 9 yards. Because only properly when we see the monthly candle will the trend actually be broken. But if we want to try front run the break, we can use 53K as a front running factor of that. Now, why is this video important? Because I'm reiterating points here. Okay, I'm reiterating points for two reasons. First reason is I didn't make a video yesterday. Second reason is we are on the doorstep of 53K here. Okay, and not only are we on the doorstep of 53K, we're also pretty much in some sort of formation. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, because it's not technically valid yet. There's not technically free retests of any particular line here, but we are in some sort of pennant formation that's forming here that could potentially be breaking out within 24 hours, which could lead to either a break above 53K or rejection back downwards to this yellow support line. Now, alternatively, I should say, even if we don't have a formation forming here, because it's not confirmed at this point, even if we don't have that formation forming here, what we do have is a valid ascending support line stemming back from the 10th of February, which is reaching 53K, clamping against 53K on the 24th of February, meaning that within the next 7 days, because there's 7 days until the 24th of February, Bitcoin will be breaking above 53K or breaking below this line and threatening to close a monthly candle below 49K. So the fact of the matter is I'm making this video to remind you of what's important, okay? I'm not necessarily introducing much new data here, but I'm reminding you of what's important. We have a macro trend. It is not broken yet. What would break it? 49K monthly candle close. Why am I bringing up right now? Because we're on the doorstep of 53K. We're seeing a potential formation form here that could be a breakout soon, either up or downwards. We're seeing the Bollinger Bands compress quite rapidly. It would not surprise me if Bitcoin makes a leg either upwards or downwards within 24 hours. Now, I'm not making short-term predictions here. That's not what I'm here for this video for. I'm not comfortable making short-term predictions in this price region. It's very clear this is not a region in which anyone should be making short-term predictions, to be quite honest with you. The fact of the matter is there's a macro trend, okay? A trend that lasts, 11 years, okay? It doesn't matter if the short-term's bullish right now. You don't have the basis to make a short-term prediction when you have a macro trend of 11 years at risk here, okay? There's no reasonable basis to make a short-term observation from that perspective. So I will make, short-term prediction. I will make observations. What are my observations? My observations are Bitcoin is very much on the edge here. Okay, it's clamped, but it's at a crossroads between two directions. Do we go up? Do we break 53K? Do we go down? Do we maintain the macro trend? Breaking 53K with a proper confirmed break and then following that up with a monthly candle close, okay, would be a break of this macro trend, and it would be the first proper indication that Bitcoin has that it could be seeing something akin to a super cycle. It wouldn't necessarily be confirmed at all because the 4-year cycle is separate to the macro trend, but it would be a very concrete sign that we are moving faster than usual because the structure is very clear, okay? From cycle to cycle, the structure is the same. We do not break this horizontal line, okay, until 1,100 days, roughly, from the previous all-time high. If we broke it now, that would be only roughly 800 days, okay? The fact of the matter is breaking upwards now would be a clear step away from the predictable cyclical trends. It would not invalidate all of them, it would not break all of them by any means. The 4-year cycle would still be a thing, but it would be the first step that Bitcoin is doing something that we potentially do not expect from a macro perspective. The first step that Bitcoin is moving faster than expected. We want to maintain predictability. It is desirable to maintain predictability. It is desirable, although there is short-term pain, it is desirable that Bitcoin, does maintain this macro trend, but obviously it doesn't really matter what's desirable. It matters what happens. There are changes in the market right now. ETFs, for example, bringing in 10 to 15% of the spot trading volume on Bitcoin, which is pretty much just all buying at this point. There are other factors like that. they're not as measurable as people would like to think. It's hard to kind of equate that as an analyst. It's hard to kind of weigh that against the charts. Right now, all we can do is observe reality, and we can observe trends and how they're formed. What can we observe? As I've said before, the monthly candle close coming up. We can also observe 53K. We can also observe, by the way, Bitcoin's weekly chart. Okay, we have weekly candle resistance of 52K. Closing the weekly candle below 52K will be an indication that we could be going downwards. We also have total cryptocurrency market cap resistance at around 1.95 trillion. We have support at 1.60 trillion. These are things we can look at, but we'll look at those again tomorrow when we get closer to the weekly candle close. They're not necessarily that important right now. Guys, just pretty much a recap video here. You know, when we have a divided community, we have 50% of the community saying we're going to enter a super cycle, 50% of the community saying we're not going to enter a super cycle. The market is split in half right now. And this is on my YouTube channel, right? My YouTube channel, which generally leans with the macro trend. So if 50% of my channel agrees with the idea of a super cycle, you can imagine that probably most of the market, 60, 70%, agrees with the idea of a super cycle. It's a very interesting time to be in crypto right now. And we'll find out the answer to this question very soon. So I'm interested to hear what it will be.